pleased.
So yeah,
I love manscaping. I'm going to start it up, actually.
The Records Act, Presidential Records Act, was first enacted in 1978. According to the Wikipedia page,
That late?
the only alleged violations of the act are all from President Trump.
Wow.
According to Wikipedia, the first listed alleged act was in June 2018, when it was reported by Politico that he would routinely tear up papers he received, which resulted in government officials taping them together for archiving to make sure that he didn't violate the act. And then, also, Business Insider in July of 2018 reported that Trump gave his personal cell phone to world leaders to have unrecorded conversations with them, which is also because the Presidential Records Act includes. It was amended to include all emails, literally any communication, any document, anything that goes that is to or from the president needs to be saved. And if this is what comes back to bite Trump in the ass, that is hilarious.
Federal Records Act seems like one of these laws that was enacted as like part of a reaction to the lesson that we learned from Nixon.
Because he was 78. Does that timing work out?
Yeah. Who was it? Jimmy Carter that was after Nixon?
I think it was Carter that was after Nixon.
Yeah,
he was 77.
Nixon's term ended in 74, so this would have been, after Nixon, so it very well could have been a response to that.
I also think it's hilarious that Trump and Nixon were friends. Or spoke regularly. I can't attest to their friendship or not. I don't know if they were capable of having friends, either of them. Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to Chonkwij podcast. That was an unusual political start. We're just having a laugh at the recent news about attempted destruction of federal records not working.
One could say a chuckle.
And chuckle. Is this how stupid do you have to be to not be able to shred a piece of paper and then burn the shreddings?
So my question is, and then we can change the topic if we so choose. Do you believe that he maliciously destroyed the records while he was in the White House at first? Because back in 2018, okay, I can see he's never been in politics before. He may have fucked some shit up, but then he continued doing it after his people were like, "No, stop doing that."
Apparently, this was a habit that he has had for years. Like it's been reported that old business acquaintances, whatever, have confirmed that Trump has for a long time had the habit of just tearing up paper and throwing it away when he's done with whenever he reads it.
So it's a force of habit.
It's some dumbass fucking habit that he has. But
upon entering office, why can't I do it on president?
Yeah, upon entering office, I'm sure every fucking person there told him repeatedly that you need to save every single one of these documents, every single piece of paper. And at that point, from that point on, it was done with the knowledge that he was breaking the law.
Yeah, but really, whose fault is it here? Because Trump tried to make it very clear that he can't hear anyone who makes less than $250,000 a year.
Wait, is that a thing?
Fuck,
hang on.
I have no fucking idea.
So, men. It is said that men have selective hearing.
It's a joke for the internet. It's a joke. It's just a joke.
But
continue. Yes, men do have selective hearing.
But is it?
Honestly, anyone has selective hearing if you're brave enough.
Yeah. So also fun stories out of fun legal stories. The Alex Jones trial has been fucking hilarious. I have been watching that and just laughing my dick off because the judge has reprimanded this man no less than 6 times that he has to tell the truth on the stand. His response each and every time, well, I believe it's the truth. And her response every time, I don't care if you believe it's the truth. If you believe that it's the truth, it's not the truth.
Dude, the best is the moment that the lawyers for the families told him that he had the full copy of his in all the data on his cell phone, because that's an amazing story. So there was certain messages that were deemed to be evidence in this case that that Alex Jones's lawyer was ordered to hand over to the other side. Specific messages. Well, his lawyer is a dumbass and sent a data copy of the entire phone.
Oh, that's brilliant.
But see, here's the thing. That alone can be undone. He can say, I didn't mean to do that. You're not allowed to have that. And, like, legally, they have to destroy that. But the lawyer never said anything.
Oh, geez.
He never filed the motion to have it removed. He never, did any of the things he needed to have done. So the lawyer for the family is like, Alex Jones is on the stand, and he's like, do you know how I got these messages, sir? And he's like, well, clearly they gave them to you because, that's what you got. And he's like, no, I want you to understand this. Your lawyer sent me the entire copy of your cell phone. And he had 10 days to ask for it to be destroyed. And after those 10 days, it became fair game. So we have everything. Not just the stuff that they knew about and was deemed to be evidence. They got fucking everything. And when the lawyer told him this, it's like, hey, have you ever seen the moment where a guy thinks to themselves, oh, wow, I'm going to jail? That's what that moment was.
Yeah, I posted that meme earlier, the Batman cinema shooter. Yeah, they perfectly capture the moment on his face when he realized, oh, fuck, I'm going to jail.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit, I'm done.
Like, he has committed perjury so many times in this trial.
Did anyone else see the meme that Fluffy posted?
No.
In Punhub about, okay, so if anyone has seen The Office before, I threw it up on stream for people to look at, but if you've ever seen The Office, there's a Japanese guy that works in the warehouse, and one time he tells a story about, in Japan, surgeon number 1, steady hands. One day, Yakuza boss needs heart surgery. I do surgery, but mistake, Yakuza boss die. I very scared. Yakuza very mad. Anyway, he tells this whole story, and somebody just redid that whole thing on Reddit and turned it into, in Japan, lawyer number 1, steady voice. One day, Alex Jones needs defense attorney. I do court, but mistake. I send prosecutor all text messages. Alex Jones very mad. But the twist of the story is that my big secret, I send all text messages on purpose. I good lawyer.
Yeah, there's when I first saw this on Reddit, there were a lot of people in the comments who were saying, like, his lawyer's a fucking hero. Well, get this. That phone record, the whole record of his cell phone, it's been sent to the January 6th committee.
Yeah, they sent that today or yesterday. Yeah.
So
I don't know what will come out of that, but I think it's hilarious that they can do it. There's nothing stopping this dude from doing it. So yeah.
I mean, you don't think Alex Jones was one of the people in contact with both some of these crazy, the leaders of these crazy militant groups, and also fucking members of the Trump circle? Like, Trump,
I don't know. I don't know that much about Alex Jones,
and
I'm hesitant to assign him that kind of celebrity status. But I don't say it's impossible.
Like, there are people on the right now who used to befriend Alex Jones who are now walking the fuck away quickly. And, like, very quickly. And it's hilarious to watch them backtrack and run.
I also have an outstanding meme of Alex Jones in a Pepe suit with the quote, "If only you knew how gay the frogs really are."
Put the fire in the water and they're turning the frickin' frogs gay.
He'll never live that down, ever.
Nope.
On at least one occasion, Trump went on InfoWars.
Oh, yeah.
So
he did.
Alex Jones, so they definitely have some level of a relationship. I don't know. I just think it's hilarious, and I would love it if some more hilarious dirt comes out about that. My other thought is they wouldn't send that to the January 6th committee if they didn't see something that was like, oh, fuck, the January 6th committee needs to see this shit.
I wasn't clear if they just voluntarily sent that over, if the January 6th committee asked, if they could just take a sneak peek at it, because yes, Trump did go onto InfoWars and he did speak with Alex Jones, and he said very nice things about Alex Jones. And Alex Jones, that was one of the few times I've ever seen Alex sitting up straight, at attention, firmly listening to one of his guests, and hanging on every word. So obviously there was a bromance there. Whether it was one-sided or not, whether or not Trump actually ever talked to him again, I have no idea, but wouldn't surprise me.
The January 6th committee has already shown text messages between multiple Fox News hosts, and not just Trump, but like members of Trump's cabinet, his lawyers, his advisors.
Wasn't Trump talking to Sean Hannity on like a nightly basis for a while?
Yeah, and some of the Hannity. I actually just watched the most recent day of the most recent January 6th hearing earlier today, and it featured a Hannity tweet. Hannity was among the people texting Trump's lawyer, telling him that he's got to get Trump to fucking stop the riot because it's horrific.
Because even Sean Hannity's not that crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's my favorite thing about these hearings, is that literally everybody that they're bringing on as a witness to testify against Trump is a Republican.
Right.
Virtually all of them, they're members of his own staff. They are Republican. They had two people who were in the riot actually testify about how they were misled by the president and shit. Like, they're burying him with Republicans. That's what's amazing.
And they did it all for justice and democracy, I know, but still, it's for the memes. So many memes.
I knew where you're going. I knew where you're going.
If you're not with me, then you're my enemy. Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Oh, you
but
said that.
All of that. Phantom Menace all the way through Revenge of the Sith. That was all like, Lucas was coming up with his own shit and everything, but a lot of that was heavily politically oriented. There's a ton of stuff in the Star Wars prequels that's aimed at what politically speaking, what was happening in the United States during the George Bush term. So yeah, no, that's totally relevant. Well done, Masami. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm
ever here to be your pun and meme lord.
Yeah. I think the best part of all of this is that while, yes, they are burying Trump, people out there still believe that he's going to run in 2024. And
of course they do. Yeah, no, he'll always
he's going to run.
He'll always have the diehard. Well, no, Omega and I have had conversations about this before. I'm not certain that he will run, but he's definitely going to be in some position of political power, either choosing a candidate or tearing the GOP completely into. He's always going to have the diehard supporters that he's got out there who are just completely unwilling to listen to any logic or reason because they do the research themselves and they get their news from Facebook, and that's where all good journalism happens, as we all know. Facebook and 4chan /poll. That's where you go for the real news, folks.
Well, I mean, that's where I get my medical advice as well.
These are jokes. We are just joking. Don't go to /poll for political news.
We are.
Yeah, you might end up on stripper.
This is satire. Satire.
What about a flat tire?
My mower doesn't have one.
Yet.
But what's that in the front of you?
Go do it.
A fence.
Gun it. Oh, Zero. Have you taken offense?
You beat me to it, Doc.
Maybe
he's on defense.
Yeah, I'm softballing him in here.
84 Bears. Duh, Bears.
Anyway, hello everybody, welcome to Chonkwij Podcast. Have I done this already?
I don't know, but do it again.
I don't think so. Do it again.
Okay, hello everybody, welcome to Chonkwij Podcast. My name is still Squiddy Bobby Brown. I need to get on top of my shit. We're joined tonight by Lawn Daddy Zero, Masami, and OmegaConstruct. Good shit. Zero still mowing the lawn. Y'all, you guys were here yesterday when Omega was like, yeah, I tried it, and then the control scheme sucked, and I immediately uninstalled it, right?
There's far too many buttons in this game for mowing the grass. There's
why do you need so many buttons?
And because I have to rebind them because I'm left-handed, like, I'm not going to figure out the best way to rebind 30 keys so I can mow a fucking lawn in a game. Sorry, not happening.
My lawnmower in real life doesn't have them. My lawnmower in real life doesn't have any buttons.
It has a handle, and you pull it.
You pull the rip cord, the zip cord, the zip line.
Well, it's like, so the different, there's like throttle, speed, blade rotation speed, blade height, swapping blades, on and off, of course. What else am I missing here, Zero?
Hang on, I'll show you.
Mind you, each of these is two things, an on and an off.
Okay, so here we go. Steering, acceleration, brake, reverse, reset camera, camera change, start engine, blades, get off vehicle. You have to hold the button for that. Lower the deck on front mount vehicles only.
I love a good lower deck.
Throttle full, throttle idle, raise cut height, lower cut height, lower stripe roller, and toggle cruise control. Wait, there's fucking cruise control?
Yeah, didn't you know all lawnmowers have cruise control?
That seems fucking redundant. The on-foot controls, you have completely separate on-foot controls. And then there's the Pro View control.
Yeah, I fucked right out of there.
That infuriates me just looking at it.
That's why do you think I play with a controller? Because it's like 4 buttons and that's it.
And that's it.
I was going to say because you were raised by console peasants.
Well, that's
not true.
No, that's completely true. I'm not going to deny it at all. I didn't start, like I said, I didn't start playing PC games until the pandemic hit, and that was because you guys all went, Zero, it's time.
It is so bored for the fucking win.
More of we outnumbered you, and you just acquiesced to the peer pressure.
You beat me until I started enjoying it, which didn't take long.
I was about to say, didn't you always enjoy it?
I mean, about 13 seconds in, it was rough for the first 13 seconds. After the first 13 seconds, it was almost euphoric.
We've done this podcast before.
Beatings continue until morale improves.
We have done this podcast before.
Yeah, it's called Is It Punishment If You Like It? I remember. I remember that. All right, anyway. Speaking of peer pressure, I don't know. I don't have a segue for this. Omega posted this article, and Valve is working on Joy-Con support for Steam. So
I just thought this was interesting. I just found this one interesting. Just a little quick shout out to it. It's cool to see Nintendo peripherals breaking out beyond that, because for the longest time, PlayStation and Xbox have been compatible with computers just because there's a lot more crossover there, but because of Nintendo's unique proprietary system, of having bizarre fucking controllers, they never bothered. But now that Nintendo has games available online, and you can play Nintendo games through your computer, they've started doing a lot more compatibility with controllers, and now that's coming to Steam too. So it'll be neat to see if any developers start taking advantage of that. Nintendo has always been interesting when it comes to third-party titles. Ever since the Wild West days, where like anybody could print a shitty game onto a regular Nintendo cartridge, they've really clamped down on only approved games. So it'll be cool if you can start playing Steam games designed to use Nintendo controls.
Yeah, it's not just for the Joy-Con either. It says in the article that they're improving. Valve is improving its support for Nintendo's classic controllers that it sells for Switch Online subscribers. So yeah, they are adding a lot of diverse controller support across Steam, which is neat. But nice article.
I don't know that I could play any video game on Steam outside of a Nintendo specific game with the Joy-Cons, because they're just awkward.
Well, that's kind of what I mean. Like, it would take a game being designed with that control scheme in mind, because it is so unique and proprietary compared to the PlayStation and Xbox controllers, which, let's be honest, are one-to-one.
Mm-hmm.
They have different they have different philosophies on design and ergonomics, but they're basically the same controller. 4 buttons, some bumpers, D-pad, joystick. There you go. So it'll be interesting to see if anybody actually chases this. It'll be probably some niche stuff at first, but it could be interesting.
Could be fun.
Not that I care. I'm never going to get a set of Joy-Cons just to play some weird Steam game, but, in principle, it's interesting.
When you can just emulate it, and I'm not saying that we emulate here.
Do you not know? I emulate all the time.
Do you?
These are jokes.
Whose good example do you emulate, Doc?
No one on our server.
I was going to say, he cannot use anybody in the server.
I was going to say Freligator
because
we can
use people in the server, just not like that.
I was going to say Freligator because he's kind of cool, but no, he's also absolutely batshit insane. So no, there's probably nobody on our server that anyone should view as a role model, except maybe Fluffy.
We're all degenerates. It's okay.
We're degens from the upcountry.
Yep, we're degens from the upcountry. Fucking degens.
Aren't you from West Virginia?
Oh my god. Really?
Moving on. Sticking with the Steam theme, though, an article caught my eye, and I liked it, not because of what it was called, but because of how it actually turned out to be written. So, titles, Epic has been great for many indies, says XCOM and Phoenix Point creator. So, it's Julian Gollop, is the gentleman who... I believe he was the creative director or the developer of XCOM. Oh, he was the CEO and XCOM creator. And he also did Phoenix Point, which was a game that was released as an Epic exclusive. And he was just talking about essentially indie games benefiting from the low cut that Epic takes, and acknowledging that when you make a game Epic exclusive, there was a lot of toxicity a while ago. That sort of died down now. But towards the end of the article, the part of it that I really thought was funny is that he starts talking about how, an Epic exclusive is not necessarily an Epic exclusive forever. It's just a period of time when the game is only available for purchase on the Epic Store. After that time expires, you can sell it wherever you want. And he starts talking about second releasing games on Steam, and makes the point that by the time these games are available to be sold on Steam, they have been balanced, patched, bugs have been fixed, The game is in a much more finished state, and it has somewhat of a community built around it, so it's a lot easier to get hype. And I started thinking about early access on Steam, and I was just like, huh. It sounds like this guy's treating the Epic Store like an early access platform, and then when the game's finally done, he puts it on Steam. Not bad.
I mean, it's less early access and more just like you think about like final playtest, like the final live beta before the actual release. Because at that point, it is a mostly finished game, and you are just looking for balance patches, any of those unique bugs that a team of testers won't be able to find. But you get a couple thousand players playing it, and they do weird shit that not even you could ever think of doing in your own game. And so then, I've actually got a few games that I've gotten through Steam that had Epic exclusivity for 6 months, and I mean, they're pretty good games. They're stable. They work. I don't know if they, perhaps the Epic exclusivity period gave them some time to do some shit. I mean, you got to think, what game doesn't have an update in their first 6 months?
Anymore? Yeah, not too many.
So, and just by that logic alone, it's guaranteed to be a better product once it hits Steam 6 months later.
But yeah, from an indie perspective, I mean, this seems like a good thing if you're even treating it, the Epic Store, like a final beta test before launch. It's good to get your product out there. Epic doesn't take a huge cut. I don't think that their market is anywhere near as big as Steam's, even over the past couple of years. But yeah, for indie developers, good. That sounds like a solid strategy. Julian goes on to say that for Phoenix Point, he because he was putting the game out as an Epic exclusive, he says he had more money in the budget. He had a surplus in the budget, and he could put that towards marketing to get game visibility up, and he could focus on QA and all the rest of that. So from that perspective, yeah, no, it's great if you can sort of get things going, get things started on Epic. And this is, I think, a type of marketing that Epic should be interested in. It's like, we are maybe try to turn this towards advertising indie titles. We are the first stop for indie publishing. And, if you want to wait 6 months, a year, 2 years, then, you can get a totally finished game on Steam, have fun with that. But if you want early access, not programming early access, but physical, like actual time early access, come to Epic. Could be a good way to market themselves. Could be a way to maybe put the Epic Store into the black, because it's been solidly running in the red ever since it started.
But I think what's interesting is that this guy isn't actually like saying that the Epic Store is better than Steam, which is what I'm sure would get a lot of people's, hackles pretty rankled. They probably wouldn't like to hear that, because there's a lot of nerds who really love that debate. But he's just saying that it's proving to be useful in that way. And one thing that I was thinking that at the top of the interview, he said, the toxicity around Epic exclusivity has died down. I think people just stopped giving a shit and just ignore games when they're at Epic. I don't think it's changed in so much that a lot of people have given up or given in and started buying the games on Epic. It's that I think people are just like, fuck it, I'll wait 6 months to buy your game. I'm not gonna, because that's what I do. I've got a few games that way. It's fine. I don't really care about the 6 months anymore. I still think it's shitty that they're, when they do it to a big game. And it was shitty at first when games were actually shutting down their Steam pages because they'd built a community on Steam already. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, so.
But yeah, anyway. I've never thought of the Epic Store that way before, so this was a good article for my Braining. Learning? Braining, yeah.
My sister and I actually got into a debate yesterday because she's still on the hunt for a PS5, even though she's just spent $1,500 on a gaming laptop. And I told her, I said, "What's the fucking point?" Well, and her exact reasoning was, well, when the next chapter of Final Fantasy VII Remake comes out, it's going to be a PlayStation exclusive for the first year. I said, so you wait a fucking year and you get it on Steam.
It'll probably it'll be on like a Steam sale too. You'll save money.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is wait.
And I told her, I said, she said, well, you have it right now on Steam, don't you? I said, no, because it's $69.99 and I'm not paying $70 for a game that is only in chapter 1 and 1. 2, I'm not paying that much for that game. I'm sorry. I've got the original Final Fantasy VII I paid $9 for. If I want to play Final Fantasy VII, I will fucking play Final Fantasy VII. I don't need the upgraded systems and all that shit. I enjoy the nostalgia of the original Final Fantasy VII.
Zero, you're not a very good capitalist.
Yeah, well, you know.
You need to spend more money.
We should go back to that comment you made earlier, Cyril.
Yes. The rich people in this game wanting their yards striped makes me want to be a socialist.
At which point I was like, but wait.
Just in this game?
Yes, just in this game. Just this game. This game all by itself.
This game all by itself makes me
grassy
want to be a
fields and verdant meadows that you tame with the powerful needs of your machinery.
That sounds sexual, and I'm here for it.
I figured you'd be turned on.
Yep.
Zero, I gotta tell you that if you were mowing my lawn and I came outside and my front yard looked like a giant square, that was, squares upon squares upon squares, basically a flattened ziggurat, I would have questions.
Would you have good answers, though? That's the question.
Look, do you want me to make all of the squares into a circle? Because I can do that.
No, I want you to go straight lines from one end to the other, diagonally.
Wildly inefficient. Wildly inefficient. This is a horse jumping and equestrian center. They get what they fucking get.
Horses don't care about fucking shapes and grass.
Fuck these horses.
Are you saying it's horse shit?
It is absolute shit.
There you go.
But no, I mean, I'm not gonna spend an ass load of money, on a game. Like, I mean, hell, even okay, let's take this game for example. I could have spent the
free
$30, back when it first came out, but I was like, you know what? I want to play the game. I at the time I had a free trial of Xbox Game Pass going, so I just played it on there, and then once my Xbox Game Pass ran out, I was like, fuck it, I'm not gonna play it anymore. And then when they announced that it was gonna be free on Epic, I was like, yep, well, I'll go ahead and pick it up. Now, am I gonna buy the DLC? Probably, because it's $5. But
resist the urge.
No, I can't. must have complete copy. Must have complete copy.
Instead of buying the DLC, why don't you devote your time to creating some sort of suit that has a built-in air conditioner so that you can go outside on a riding lawnmower and do this for real while you are locally air conditioned?
So that would require me to get funding.
Funding for what? You must have duct tape around your house. You definitely have trash bags somewhere and an air conditioner.
Okay, so let me explain to you my aversion to tape and trash bags. I wrestled in high school, so tape and trash bags bring back very horrid memories.
Wait, you didn't do that dumbass thing where you like taped a whole bunch of trash bags to your sweatshirt and then went running, right?
No. We just straight wore the trash bags and taped them shut.
Are you sure you didn't do that
yes.
because you couldn't afford clothes? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Are you sure you didn't do it just because you're poor? No, I'm sorry. That's not. I don't mean that, but that is the joke that popped into my head. I know that's not the case.
I mean,
Ugh.
I couldn't afford the weight loss suit like most of the guys on the team could. So yes, trash bags were an alternative.
The weight loss suits are a scam.
They are. It's water weight. You put it back on the second that you take a sip from a water fountain.
You remember the Simpsons episode where Mo is in a fancy restaurant and the maitre d' comes over and asks him to leave because he's like, I'm afraid you're not up to the dress code. And Mo's like, what, you don't like my bags? So down he's got like bread loaf bags for shoes.
I love it.
Oh man. Fluffy will appreciate the Simpsons, the wild Simpsons reference.
Okay, so I'm probably going to upset Fluffy with the statement. You know, I've only watched like maybe 30 episodes of The Simpsons.
I have watched less than that.
How are you two technically legally considered Americans?
I mean, I was born
okay
in
not being
Virginia,
considered,
so.
I read when I was younger, thank you.
Nerd!
Nerd!
Is The Simpsons still on?
Yes.
Yeah, they're in like season 36 or something.
I haven't watched it in a very long time. At one point in my life, I had seen every episode up to that point, and at a certain point, the show just started to suck, and I stopped watching it. And I don't doubt for a second that since that there have been good episodes in the time since then, but I very, very severely lost interest in that show.
Well, for a long time, weren't they just doing episodes that were like either, I don't want to say rip-offs, satires or parodies of popular movies? Like Inception comes out, so, Bart has to go into the mind of Principal Skinner to convince him to, get an A or something.
I don't know.
That was probably an episode.
Maybe.
Well, that's when I stopped watching. Is because it seemed like for a long time, for maybe a decade, they were just doing movie parodies or TV show parodies, and they had run out of situational. Granted, there's only so much situational comedy in the world that you can do before you start repeating yourself. So
that's
they were
exactly
looking for
it.
something new.
It got to a point where I was like, I'm done.
I
mean, and then Rick and Morty came out. Yeah,
I haven't seen a single episode of that.
Oh, great show!
I've actually stopped talking about it to people because unfortunately, it is, in my opinion, it is on par with Futurama. They're obviously different shows, different themes, different writing, different humor. But in terms of intelligent writers and thoughtful storylines and some meaning behind your ridiculous zany cartoons, I think they're on par. But we're in the age of the internet now, so Rick and Morty season 1, season 2 comes out, everyone raves about it because it really is that good, and then a certain audience attaches themselves to Rick and Morty, and it becomes no fun talking about it with people anymore.
It's one of the most annoying fan bases on the internet.
So I like Rick and Morty. I recommend Rick and Morty to anybody who is interested, but I have sort of phased out speaking about it just because I fucking hate the people who also love it.
The way that I heard it is that like Rick and Morty is a show for people who like to think they're the smartest person in the room.
You can definitely do that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I will say the first time I saw episodes of Rick and Morty, I absolutely hated it. Then time passed and Cozen started watching it again. And at that point, I don't know where I was in my life, but I was at a different point in my life. And I started actually kind of enjoying it. So it's one of those shows that I think you have to be in a certain mindset almost, if that makes any sense. Or just like I don't know, for me it was just totally like I had to be in a certain place, and it was definitely not the place when I first watched it.
Yeah.
I totally get that. I mean, listen, I've watched plenty of shows that are divisive. Doc and I, for a long time, watched a fuck ton of Aqua Teen Hunger Force. You want to talk about hating a show? I hated that show at first. And it just Stockholm syndromed me after like 5 episodes.
I have heard it does that.
You
I
fell in
never
love
got
with your
into it,
captor,
though.
huh?
It was, yeah, it's a show not a lot of people like.
I have to be in a very odd mood to watch that show.
I mean, I haven't watched it in more than a decade.
I don't. If an episode comes on the air, I just immediately start reciting all the lines with it. I swear all 8 seasons of that are permanently ingrained in my memory.
I mean, I don't have TV, and it's not available on any of the streaming sites, so I would have to actually make the active decision to download it, torrent it. But like, I'm not one to watch a lot of TV shows, while I'm doing shit. I watch a lot of YouTube and while I play video games and stuff, but I don't really go for TV shows that much for that purpose anymore.
And then there's me with my Plex server.
Well, I know you love your background TV. We always had something going in the dorm.
It's true. Yeah, I still do that, actually. You just, you have something on in the background. Every once in a while, you tune into it. Otherwise, it's just sort of there. It's there to set the vibe.
I've been
right
I've
TV
been
show for the
watching-
right job.
I've been watching a lot of Fallout lore videos
I have
because
no idea what that is.
I fucking hate myself.
What even is that?
Just lore about the Fallout universe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, oh yeah. There's like I've watched all of the lore for Fallout 1, which there wasn't a whole lot. Fallout 2 had a bunch, and then 3 and 4 were just insane. And New Vegas, I haven't even touched New Vegas yet. So,
It's new. It's from Vegas.
And then of course nobody touches Fallout 76 when it comes to lore because there is none.
All right. We should probably move on to this. Oh, god damn it! We actually had a segue to this earlier on too, but we had more to talk about. So, Masami, I'm not trying to replace ya or anything, but if your tabletop GM is too strict, why not use an AI game master? Haha. So, AI Dungeon's founder recalls his favorite AI-generated campaign moments. This is a whole article about something called AI Dungeon. That is basically an artificial intelligence acting as a DM or GM, and it's about how the relationship between player and GM works when you're dealing with an online AI, and it's much more of a situation where the AI rolls with what you want to do. The AI figures out how to make your absurd, batshit, weird ideas fit into whatever encounter is happening. I'll preface this by saying that I've never had the experience. There are a lot of people that have played way more D&D than I have. I've never been with a DM who is just like anal retentive about rules and vicious and sarcastic when it comes to making mistakes. But apparently that is a thing that happens a lot. And
oh my god.
The thing that happens at all with an AI.
It's sadly epidemic. Yeah. There's a reason I GM the way I do, because I have been underneath those sorts of people and I absolutely fucking hate it.
I have to say that ranking the GMs, I can't even rank the GMs that I've worked with, but you, Masami, Omega, and my uncle are all 3 listed at number 1 for me. And it's simply because you guys give latitude. You set a boundary, but you give the players latitude.
That's, I think, what gives me the most pause with an AI. Is like, how flexible will it truly be? How well will it be able to react to the things that players do? I can imagine if you go into it being willing to accept a slightly more linear story than an open world campaign, which is also a totally valid way to play D&D with people. You know, it's totally cool for a DM to say, like, yeah, this is a somewhat linear story. There's plenty for you to do within the confine, like within the story, but, you know, please don't decide to go off in a different direction and, you know, start up a traveling band and, you know, whatever you want to do, because that's not the game that the DM wants to run. That's all well and good. But I see a world where, like, the AI would incorporate whatever absurdities you do, and it would just result in more absurdities, which would kind of devolve into a cycling black hole of getting more and more ridiculous, which could be hilarious. But I would have to see it in action to really be able to trust it, that it could actually handle running a long-term, real D&D campaign.
So if you, I will say that in the article, it does preface this by saying that the AI is not in a state in the world, technologically speaking, rather, that it can replace a human being, it can replace a human GM. We're just not at that point. So just keeping that in mind, if you would like to try AI Dungeon, it is an AI campaign generator. It is free to play online, and it's on Steam. There are also paid versions of it too, which involve smarter AI models that can retain more information at once. But there are free versions that you can just go and dick around with and see how this thing works, if there is interest.
I would do it. I think it would be fun. I don't think it would ever replace D&D, but it would be like, hey, I want to play D&D with an AI. Like, that's what that is. You specifically want to play it with an AI because it's going to be weird. Yeah. Like, that would be a cool experience, but that's not the same thing as playing D&D. It's no different than, like, I want to play chess against an AI, or I want to, you know, that's more just a new context for interacting with AI in an entertaining way, less than it is, I think, anything that's going to be able to truly replicate real D&D.
What really sold me on this article was that the guy who there's a guy who's just named in this article who's been dicking around with this, and he was in a campaign. He was fighting a giant mech, and he told the AI that he wanted to attack the mech and try to disable it by jamming a Windows boot CD into one of its inputs. And I was just like, clever idea. I don't know if Windows is a thing in whatever campaign that you're running, but jam a Windows boot CD into it, try to reformat the whole mech. Good idea. And of course, you know, the AI rolled with it, and it turned into a great way to defeat the mech. But yeah, saw this article. Thought this was neat.
Do you still want to replace me?
No.
No, absolutely not. I just, you know, how did the petition end, by the way, to replace the Revenant portraits with portraits of Leonardo DiCaprio from the movie Revenant? I found a great image of him, too.
I really don't want to have to fuck the Revenants, but I will.
You gonna fall on that sword?
Oh, I will fall right the fuck on that sword, and so will they.
Yeah, he'll just sit right down on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine that face coming at you in the middle of a D&D campaign. That'd scare the shit out of me.
Doc, you should send me that picture, and we'll make some adjustments.
You know? Okay, all right, yeah. I'm not going to complain if you decide to do it. I'm just I no expectations here. But holy damn. Poor Leonardo DiCaprio. He had to eat raw elk liver and freeze his fingers off in the wild north and be dirty all the time and do a stunt scene with a bear where he gets all dirty and also get buried alive just to get an Oscar. It wasn't even his best movie. All right, anyway. So that's that.
No, Dogma was his best movie. Sorry. So sorry.
Oh.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Oh. Anyway, this is something that we've been talking about for a while. NVIDIA's $1.4 billion GPU shortfall this quarter is great news for PC gamers. So apparently NVIDIA overestimated their projected earnings by $1.4 billion. And now they are sitting on, ostensibly, a lot of inventory that they are not able to move, and they are going to have to, quote, adjust prices to encourage the moving of that inventory.
Oh, does that mean I might be able to get me a 3090?
Yeah, actually, that's one of the things that that was brought up in this article, is that a couple days ago, the price of an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3090 dropped by almost $1,000. So as opposed to buying one for $2,500, you can now find them for between, it looks like $1,299 and $1,499, which is still an astronomical and absurd price for a GPU, but it's a price drop.
I just think it's fucking hilarious that this is because of the crypto crash.
Yeah, that was definitely playing a huge part in this.
That's the entirety of it. That is the entirety of it. Absolutely. No one's buying them anymore. It's no longer profitable unless you have access to free electricity to mine crypto. So everybody who had mining farms has sold off their cards, and nobody is buying lots of 100 cards at a time anymore. And that's what's been driving a lot of the industry's sales for the last probably half a decade.
What is hilarious, to me, it actually pertains to the Radeon cards that have come out, the new generation of Radeon cards that are out. Performance-wise, they are competing with NVIDIA's top-line models, and there's a little applet in here that is just showing a Radeon RX 660 Swift 210. The MSRP for that card is $330, which is pretty fucking good for a current generation graphics card. You can find one and buy one on Amazon for $260. That's fucking great. So, one thing that this article does point out is that, yeah, the RTX 3090 has dropped in price significantly, but the price cuts don't appear to be happening to lower end cards in the 2000 range, the whatever, a 2080 or a 2080 Ti. It's not as drastic there, and if you go down to some of the, like a 2060 or something, the prices have barely moved. But those cards are not really current generation. They're kind of current generation actually, but they're not as good obviously as the 3090. And Radeon has this new line of cards that it's put out that's competing with the 3000s or the 30 series, and they're so much cheaper. They're so much cheaper. I'm really rooting for AMD to keep Intel and NVIDIA on their toes here.
That's the thing. How many people need the 3090? That's like a top 5%. That is an enthusiast card.
It is, because there is no game or program currently out that requires a 30 series card.
Yeah, requires no, but you can make games look fucking beautiful, and you can make older games run smooth as silk.
Sure.
I'm sure. But, it's an enthusiast card. I don't care if they can compete with that. If they can compete in a budget card, because that's the other thing, like, there have been a lot of rapid advancements in graphics cards these last few years. So even something that is like up to snuff for what was top of the line 3 years ago would be, if you can put that much power into a mid-range price point right now, that's amazing. That's a competitor. That's a market competitor. I don't care if they can, compete with the top end stuff. If I can get the equivalent of a 2060 or a 2080, if I can get the equivalent of a 2080, but in the price range of a mid-range GPU, because that's where the technology is today, and they can compete in those terms, fuck yeah, I'm on board. The 2060 would be such an incredible upgrade for my computer. My graphics card is old as fuck.
The 20, I am perfectly. I was completely joking in the fact that I needed one of those cards. I don't. My 2060 Super is perfectly fine. I don't. It runs everything that I want it to run at very high or ultra graphics. That
How many frames have dropped while you're mowing lawns?
2.
See, it's remarkable. And that's probably just because, your computer had to load something, rebuffering. Live broad brain. Aquatine references, yes, they are in my brain. But no, I get what you're saying. I also have a 2060, and it's not the top of the line card, but it's fucking fantastic for everything that I use it for.
I mean,
God,
what game do I
render
normally
HD
play?
video? Destiny?
Destiny and WoW.
WoW?
And
Oh,
Fallout.
Yeah. For WoW, what do you need?
Top.
For WoW, you basically need a potato with a clock attached to it.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, I was running before I went on my hiatus. I was running 178 frames per second or something stupid like that, and that was in heavily populated areas. So, I'm fine with what I've got. There's no need for an upgrade. My sister's laptop, she's like, "Oh, I've got a 30." I think she says she's got a 3060 mobile card. And I was like, "Good for you.
Yeah.
You use it to play Sims."
Hey, The Sims can be super greedy.
I mean, just look at all that DLC.
Yeah, for real. Wait a minute. Is Steam? Who's got Steam open? I don't have Steam open. Never mind. I was gonna go check to see if the paid DLC on Steam had crossed the $1,000 mark, because I'm pretty sure the last time I checked it was 950 something or 945 something.
I can tell you real quick.
Christ, there's a lot of DLC for The Sims. But yeah, depending on how much of that DLC you get and how many of those things you pack into your house because you know how to turn move objects off, yeah, you can be requiring a pretty hefty graphics card. Not a 3060 or 3070 mobile, though. That's fucking ridiculous. Yeah, Omega, if you upgrade your graphics card, go with one of the current generation AMD cards, get $250, and you'll be jumping 4 generations. You'll be kicking the shit out of a 2060.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty much what I hope to do in the near future.
That is insane. But anyway, yeah, thank God the cryptocurrency, or the crypto market crashed. Because fuck you, scalpers, and fuck you, mining farms.
So it doesn't give you the total because all of them, pretty much all the DLCs are on sale for between 30 and 50% off. But it's
they're
still
doing a sale.
$578.45.
Yeah, because it's the fucking sale right now. That's stupid. I thought all the Steam sales had ended. I missed my chance to buy the Airports DLC for City Skyline. I should have been paying attention to that. That's the last DLC that I need for that. I don't want anything else. I don't want the radio stations. I don't want the content creator packs. There's a workshop for that shit. Man. Alright, so yeah. That was that article, and the last one I just threw in here for shits and giggles because we talked about it the first time that it happened, but Henry Cavill upgraded his gaming PC, and apparently it just made itself...
Is there a video of of him doing this?
Not that I found. So there's a picture here, which honestly looks like the picture that he took when he assembled the rig in the first place. But all he did was replace his AIO, and I think he got some new fans, just because there was a heat wave. There has been a heat wave across the country, and he was just thinking about upgrading his cooling, which is, it's a good idea. It's a decent idea. But I don't... If you've got an all-in-one cooler, radiator, liquid-cooled CPU, all-in-one unit, unless you bought a bad one, or unless you want a bigger radiator, there's usually never a reason to replace those unless they break.
I'm seriously considering switching out the stock cooler in this Omen that I bought and switching it over to an AI all in one.
What kind of where are your temps?
I mean, they're not bad right now, but that's just because my room stays at a brisk 68 degrees all the time.
Well, good. I mean, ideally, your computer should be in a climate-controlled room. Mine is for most of the time. Now, let's see. What are my temps right now? What's my GPU at? My GPU right now is at 46% because I'm piping stuff through OBS. Or 46 degrees, apologies.
I'm running at... Let's see here.
And my CPU is between 32 and 38. All cores.
My CPU is currently rolling around at a nice cool 33.
71 and 68.
Fahrenheit? Or Celsius?
No, Celsius.
That's high.
71 and 82.
Wait, for what temperatures?
For your CPU and your GPU?
CPU and GPU.
Yeah, right now my CPU is 32, my GPU is 44. My GPU is air-cooled, mind you, but I have an AIO for my CPU.
Is Lawnmower Simulator like a resource hog?
87% at 1.7 gigahertz.
87%? Jesus Christ, what is that game doing?
Yeah, so I mean...
Constantly rendering.
It's calculating every blade of grass.
It fucking calculates every single blade of grass. That would explain it, actually.
Under load, your temps aren't terrible.
Yeah, no, that's not awful.
I forgot that you were playing a game not idling. If those are your idle temps, then you've got problems.
Right, but you're in a game, so that's I don't know anything about Lawnmower Simulator in terms of how resource heavy it is. I thought it was a simple game. So simple.
I don't know. Yeah. If you it came with it, if it's working, no reason to really replace it. When you upgrade your GPU or CPU one day, then get a AIO with it. But I feel like that's gilding the lily a little bit.
Yeah.
If you don't need it, don't get it.
The other thing that you're looking at, first of all, Zero, if you want to upgrade your CPU cooler from stock to something not stock, you're going to have to discuss that with the Lord of the Underworld or whoever it is that's responsible for running your computer hardware. If the Lord of the Underworld is cool with it, and you're able to successfully open a portal to the Dark Dimension, then you're looking at a lot of research for an all-in-one, because you do not want to... Here's a tip. Never buy anything from Corsair except RAM. You're looking at a lot of research, because if you get a bad all-in-one stock cooler, or sorry, not stock, a bad all-in-one liquid cooler, then you could leak a little bit. That's gonna drip directly onto your GPU, which is you're gonna be out a lot of money. Or it could the radiator could just basically fail. There's no way to really hear that unless you really, unless you got a loud radiator and you know what to listen for, or you're just really obsessive compulsive about checking hardware info or something like that to see temperatures.
Or your hearing is incredibly sensitive.
Right.
A lot of things about me are sensitive. Hearing is not one.
Where?
Wow. Okay. Okay. I set myself up for that. I'm going to give you that one. I'm going to give you that one.
What is it about Fatal Funnel that makes Vodak go across the room?
So you said Fatal Funnel, and then Vodak heard things moving toward the other door. He's not a brilliant tactician, okay? He was a weaponsmith for the army. He was not a fucking brilliant tactician.
I mean, he
But
did a
yet-
good enough job plugging that door.
You did.
I mean,
Yeah, that's the thing. It turned out to be a good decision, but there's no way you could have known that at the time.
Vodak knew the entire time. He knew the entire time. Again, Vodak is a brilliant tactician. He is Bane levels of intelligent. I was taking the castle and giving it back to the people. Sorry.
I give it
you're
back
not.
to you,
You,
the
the
people.
people. Oh, God.
You're gonna hypnotize me with this damn game, Zero.
So what?
Leetness is gonna go look up Bane Cat now.
Bane Cat, yep.
Hi, Leetness, in the future.
Hi, future Leetness.
By the way, you disappointed me again, Leetness. You didn't show up for podcast. It made me sad, and I'm gonna go cry on the little pillow that I have in my room.
He comments on every single one.
He
Which
does.
is
Did you know that?
He's our most dedicated viewer.
I log in to the Chonkwij studio once a week to upload the podcast, and I preemptively have my pants off, my dick is out. I'm just waiting to see that little bell notification pop up with at least one new comment on it, because I know that Leetness has commented, and then I just beat it furiously.
Yes.
Thanks, Leetness.
Oh, we know what rings your bell, I guess.
Darn tootin'.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, I guess was that the final article of the evening?
Yeah, that's it. I just want to say good for the internet for remembering that Henry Cavill knows how to build a computer.
Yes. It is with much sad. We didn't start tonight off with sadness. We actually started it off with happiness. But Olivia Newton-John has passed away. For all of
really?
our listeners. Yes, she passed
Mhm.
away today at 73 after her long fought battle with breast cancer. So,
That fucking sucks.
yeah. Yeah, it does. 'Cause she was a gem. She made John Travolta tolerable.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, from CNN. Olivia Newton-John, singer and actress, dead at 73. So she was the John Travolta's love interest in Grease.
The one that I want. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
I always loved
For-
the people dancing at the end of that movie.
That is really fucking bizarre too, because it's about 3 hours ago, I got the fucking Let's Bowl, Let's Rock and Roll song stuck in my head. We're gonna score tonight. Man. Yes. Of course, she was in other things. Grease is not actually that good. I mean, it's a wonderful musical, but in terms of storytelling, it's really not something that you want to encourage your kids to do. You really like this person, so change yourself completely so that they like you. It's not really a good message to send. But she was in plenty of other stuff.
Yeah. She definitely was an amazing actress. That is for sure.
Way to go, CNN, for this fucking outstanding catalog of pictures. Anyway, rip Olivia Newton-John. Yeah, breast cancer is, there is a reason why I pay a lot of attention to Breast Cancer Awareness Month is because everybody that I know knows somebody who is a breast cancer survivor or who has died from breast cancer.
It's the reason why I do the Relay for Life here in the Valley every single year. Not only because of my mother, with pancreatic cancer, but my grandmother. My grandmother was the chairperson and really, got national attention for her work with the Breast Cancer Association. Um, for her work with the Relay for Life in Roanoke Valley. So
Yep, that's why I do the Walk for Breast Cancer in Boston. But yeah, well, that's all I got for articles. That's all I got for the podcast. Another successful evening. Another successful podcast has come to a close.
yeah,
Now we switch off and we enter our hibernation chambers until next week when they dethaw us and we do this again.
Wait, who's on schedule this week to wake us up? Because what was it, Fluffy last week? I think Fluffy got us last week.
Probably Fluffy last week. I don't know. It's high time that Sid did it.
Well, we never want Leetness to do it because then he will never show up.
Oh.
Or he'll just not wake us up, and that's why we miss podcast, because it's Leetness's turn and he doesn't wake us up.
Yeah, he doesn't press the buttons in the correct sequence for the hibernation chamber.
One of us would just wake up by accident, and the first thing that we would see is what looks to be the some sort of stain or fog stain of a giant pressed ham on the glass over the lid, and we would just be like, how the hell did that get there? Then it would turn out that it's like 50 years in the future, and Leetness is just walking around naked, eating Ben & Jerry's. Not even with a spoon. He's just squeezing it out of the container into his mouth.
I don't think we need the future for that.
I was going to say, wait, you guys don't do that on the regular?
I use spoons. How dare you? I use... Most of the time, I use a utensil.
Bro, I am a diabetic who loves his Ben & Jerry's. I literally tongue fuck the carton. That may be too... Now that I've said that, that may be too much information for y'all.
Ever since you posted that picture that I made the sticker out of, that's like a new image in my mind.
What, me tongue fucking the carton of Ben & Jerry's?
Yeah, tongue fucking a quart of Ben & Jerry's. A pint, whatever. They're sold in pints,
No, we can make it a quart.
Do they have quarts of Ben & Jerry's?
They do have quarts of Ben & Jerry's. You have to go to a Ben & Jerry's store to get it, though.
I've never seen one. I don't think I've ever been to a Ben & Jerry's store. I always got my Ben & Jerry's from Wegmans or whatever.
There's a Ben & Jerry's store like 3 blocks away from my girlfriend's apartment. If you buy like 3 pints, you get like $1 or $2 off or something like that.
That's fucking amazing.
And yeah, of course, you can get any of the flavors on an ice cream cone or scoop.
How do they put fish food? No, okay, I guess you can put fish food onto a cone.
Oh, absolutely. I was
just thinking about... Well, because the marshmallow doesn't really keep the ice cream together. It's more of like a separator, and then you've got all the tiny little hard chocolate fishes in it. Jesus fucking Christ, I love fish food. That and cookie dough.
Why are we the same fucking person? This is my question.
We're not. For one thing, you're born in West Virginia, and I'm an asshole.
Fucking Christ.
You're a mountain mama.
I mean, I do have the tits to prove it.
That's what we got to start working more John Denver references into our podcast. We really got to get the young people in here. The young people love John Denver.
Of course they do. Who doesn't love John Denver?
The sad thing is that people actually, well, it's not sad. It's a good thing that people know who John Denver is. But the sad thing is that they probably all think that he's that guy who sang Country Roads. He did the original Country Roads version that was made for the Kingsman movie, whichever that one was. I think it was the sequel. Golden Circle or some shit.
Country road, take me home.
I don't know who that guy is, that actor is, but I fucking love him and his bald head.
Watch the prequel for Kingsman. I've seen 1 and 2. I need to see the prequel that came out.
I talked briefly about the prequel that came out. I think it's a great movie because it tricks people into learning the history of World War One.
Well, thankfully, I mostly know the history of World War I, but
damn it, it's fucking educational.
It's not like 1,000% accurate, but you want the main story beats. You want the big events. Yeah, you just got to take the whole fiction of the Kingsman existing out of the equation.
You know what? That's what I need in my life. I need to go rewatch the Kingsman movies because I could use a little cheer.
That's why we have Jay and Silent Bob.
You know, in the first one, their graduation ceremony was they have to shoot the dog that they've been caring for, and I immediately, when I saw that scene, I saw what was happening. I was like, "Oh no, there's no way that they're gonna do. Holy fuck, they're actually gonna do this." Did no one in the writers' room realize that that was also the graduation ceremony for the Schulstaffen and the Nazis were in charge? The SS did that. That's how you graduated from SS school.
I mean, I doubt it was an accident. That's the kind of thing I think a filmmaker would do deliberately.
What does that say about the Kingsman, then? Like, that seems like somebody didn't 100% think that out. And they're just like, oh no, the gun had blanks in it. You weren't actually going to kill the dog. That doesn't fucking matter. You thought you were. You were convinced that you were. Doesn't matter whether or not it actually happened. You were intending to do it. Oh well. Anyway. Who the fuck is that guy? He was also in The Brothers Grimsby. He played Sacha Baron Cohen's brother. He's excellent. He's got great comedic timing.
Oh god, now I want to know who you're talking about.
I'll try to bring it up. His name is Mark Strong.
That's a porn star if I've ever heard one.
It totally is. He could absolutely play Johnny Sins in the made-for-TV documentary. British actor Mark Strong, who played... Oh, yeah, he also played a character in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Is often cast as cold, calculating villain, but before he became a famous actor, he intended to pursue a career in the law. Strong was born in London, England, to an Australian mother and Italian father, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, he's great. Back to lawnmowers. We should probably call this.
Ooh. So, Zero, I have a highly technical question for your very dedicated lawn mowing ass.
Yes.
There were some lawns you trimmed first and then you mowed, and then there's other lawns where you mowed first and then you trimmed. What is the method to your madness, and how does it make sense?
Okay, so let's look at the map. Certain ones of these are like this lawn here. If you look, there's a summary and I'm pointing to the screen like you guys can actually fucking see this. See me pointing at it. It's a small area, flower beds, intricate. So stuff like this where I can't get but so close with the mower, I generally hit it with the trimmer first and then go over the remaining areas with the mower. Now, if it's like a paddock like that, where it's like just wide the fuck open, trees. This is Doc's favorite map because, there's not 3 feet of mulch around each tree.
Fucking people don't know how to arrange orchards.
And the trees are offset. So I will go and I will mow the as much as I possibly can without getting super close to the trees, and then I'll pull the trimmer out and I'll just trim up around the trees until I get to the percentage that I need to get to. Like on this one, it's 99.9%. Now you do get like this one is a general cut. That just means I go in, cut the grass, call it a day. There is litter collection, which I don't have one of those contracts right now, and then this is the one that I did earlier that you saw. That's the stripe job, the stripe cut. I have to cut the grass in a specific pattern, which apparently would be Doc's favorite, the back and forth in one direction.
I like a bit of back and forth.
Don't we all?
So
Bear's gonna have a bit of back and forth.
Heyo. But yeah, and then of course you've got like recommended times, and I've actually gotten pretty good at getting underneath the recommended time for all of them because of the type of mowers that I have now. So
you could say you're an expert at manscaping at this point.
no, far from it. The next goal.
You should see his crotch; it's a mess.
It really is. I mean, I would
Doc,
show you, but we would get
in there, Doc.
But we would get banned.
Look, all I want are pictures of your feet. That's it. I don't need anything higher up than an ankle.
The ultimate goal is to have that right there. $38,000 Toro Groundmaster 3300.
Does this game have like corporate sponsorship with utility
does
companies? Or?
With Toro, with Skag, and with Stiga. Stiga is only available in the UK. Their United States counterpart, I believe, is Steel.
Stahl. See, yeah, you got the right oomph, but you have to say it the right way. It's Stiegel. Say it with me.
Stiegel.
There you go. And then yeah, Stahl. That's the big ass orange chainsaw that I fucking got out in my garage. God, those are good.
What, the Steels?
Stahl. No, the Stahl. I believe it's spelled. You know them immediately because they're very distinctly orange.
Orange and gray, yeah, Steel. Stihl, Steel.
There you go.
Yep. I'm a craftsman man myself when it comes to my with a chainsaw, but when it comes to mowers, I'm Toro and Skag.
I mean, I'd like to say nice things about Toro, but their product is good. Anyway, I was going to say a long ass time ago, one of my first logo jobs was designing something for a place that sold this like high-end tools and equipment, including they were really happy about the partnership that they had with Stihl. And they wanted a logo that featured a prominent orange chainsaw. I was like, okay. Should I put the they actually, I think they initially wanted the name to appear in the logo too, and I was just like, I don't think that you can do that. I don't think legally speaking, Stihl is going to be really happy that their brand name is in your corporate logo that you will be selling on your merchandise. But,
yeah,
whatever.
Got to get permission.
Hell yeah. All right. Anyway, tune in to not the next podcast, but the podcast after that to figure out. Oh no, actually, it's gonna take us a long ass time to get back to Vallaki, isn't it? All right, so I'll bring this. If I remember this, we'll bring this up again in like a month, maybe 2 months. We're gonna see whether or not Barry can feng shui an orgy in Vallaki. Possible.
I mean, I just like the fact that you use the feng shui orgy in the same sentence.
Try. He might totally be able to do that because we've got him and we've got another guy now, and we've got at least 2 ladies, possibly a third if we can get the Lady Wagner on board.
Jesus.
I can
I
hear
will warn
Masami's
you-
disgust.
I will warn you in advance that if you try to do this, the results may not be quite what you expect. And I'm not saying this in a bad sense. I'm just saying prepare for the consequences.
Because what the consequences, like what? Like Barry is not guaranteed to be the caboose of the train, or like herpes exists in this world? Because we've never had a conversation about STDs.
Oh, I wouldn't even go with things as mundane as that. Think bigger.
Shit is gonna get weird.
And then all of a sudden there was a knock at the door, and a giant tentacle went in the room, and we heard Neela's voice say, "Room for one more?"
Well, if you're nice enough to have it out on the docks, I mean, why wouldn't he join in?
Note to future self: tentacle hentai in D&D. I mean, why wouldn't you? Oh my God! Does Delacroix have? Barry needs to go check out and see whether or not Delacroix has some book that's close to the Kama Sutra.
Oh my God.
Kama Sutra. Excuse me. All right, yeah. So whatever. Tune in next week, regardless. We'll be here same time. Say penis. Fuck Putin.
Fuck.
Fuck Putin.
Fuck him.